All right, guys, welcome to the round table. So today we're going to talk about why relationships fail in 2021. Man, who wants to start out with this one? I mean, I'm gonna be honest. This one's a heavy one, I feel, for all of us. So who wants to start with this one? Because I don't know if I do. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know. I don't know if I want to be the first one on this one.
I'll start off with just some things I've seen.
Okay.
And I'll just give you a little bit more of my background. I worked at a divorce law firm for 3 years. I also worked for Child Protective Services. I was also a mortgage underwriter before. And what I've seen over the years is that there's a relationship is not seen as something that is real as far as I'm concerned. A lot of it is the idea of what a relationship is versus an actual connection with two people. So while working at the divorce law firm, I very rarely had somebody that wanted a divorce for infidelity or cheating or whatever. It was more or less, this person didn't make me happy. And what's crazy is you would often see that same person come back in like a year and a half with somebody new divorcing that person.
Ooh, okay.
And you would ask this person like, okay, what did you want from this relationship? And when you broke it down, it was like a fantasy. So there's very little like reality in how it actually means to be with someone else. It's like when you're with that person and that person's telling you what you want to hear and making you feel the way you want to, everything's fine. But when they don't tell you what you want to hear, then you leave.
Can you get some examples of like what they wanted?
Yeah, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. A lot of times they want somebody, like a woman would want somebody that's very good looking, high income, but also available.
Really?
Yeah, so you want somebody that makes like $175,000 a year, but you also don't want them to work 80 hours a week.
Wow.
Like, I don't know like where that person actually exists, because that's very, very rare.
Yeah.
Or you know, somebody would get with somebody, and this is what I always say. People get with people because of everything they are. And then they try to change them into everything they're not. And then if they're successful, they leave that person.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you get with somebody because he's a bad boy. And then you change him until he's no longer a bad boy.
Square.
And now you're bored with him.
Wow.
You know, or I would find somebody that, you know, you get with a girl who's essentially like an Instagram model. And then you want to turn her into a wife.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when you fail at that, you're mad at her. But she's just playing the role you got. That's like trying to get a Lambo and trying to treat it as an everyday car. And then you're mad when it's getting scuffed up. So it's like, you know, values and principles and the actual character of the individual was not the forefront. It was emotions. So when your emotions are fickle, the car is going in all kind of ways. And the car is the relationship. It's like being in a messed up Uber. You get in an Uber with a guy who don't know how to drive. How do you feel? You're scared, you're holding on, blah, blah, blah. And that's what happens when superficial emotions are driving your life. So there's no values, there's no principles. This relationship isn't going anywhere because it's not set on anything that really matters. And I used to see this principle over and over and over again with Child Protective Services, with people buying houses they can't afford to impress people that don't even matter, and with the divorce. And I just see it over and over and over again, and it's sad.
So to kind of piggyback on that, like, so I feel like in relationships there's a lot of overthinking. I just feel like if you are in a solid relationship and nobody's, right now we're talking about two people that care about each other, nobody's doing any foul stuff. Because I mean, if you're in a relationship where everybody's cheating, or you know, you got a man whooping on you and mentally and physically, well, that's pointless anyway. It's like, it's common sense, leave the relationship, right? So we're not talking about that. We're talking about if literally you're with somebody and both you guys are trying, but you're just kind of lost, right? You don't really know how to make it last. Because what happens is a lot of people, they get in a relationship and they overthink. So you start doing things that are not even needed to be done, like double checking on your partner's habits. And it's just like, well, if you got somebody who cares about you, you don't need to do that, because it should just flow. You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be a situation to where you're always worrying about what they should be doing, because if you're in that type of situation with somebody, then you need to go ahead and just not be in that situation with that person.
Insecurity.
Yeah, it's insecurities that people have that they don't know they have until they're with someone that they actually like. Because they get with that person, and let's say they both are that person, they care about each other, but their insecurities start playing against them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've had so many bad relationships that now that you're in a good relationship, you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
They're in the
That's a bad
bathroom,
thing.
you're checking their phone, and this, that, and the other thing.
That's
It's
a
like,
bad thing.
if you got somebody who's solid, then you know they're solid. You know what I mean? Like, and you'll have a lot of guys out here that, oh no, you know, they might act like they're solid, but they're not. Well, wait a minute. No, that's not how it is. Because there's still good women and there's still good men out here.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, y'all. It's becoming a little bit more scarce with today's generation. But we'll get into that in another topic. But they're still out here. And there's still people that want to be with people. I want to ask you guys, like, what do you guys think about the 5 love languages? You know, like, as far as like a relationship failing or not failing, how much do those have to do with it? Because, so, as far as the 5 love languages, you know, I believe in quality time and, you know, doing acts of service. You know, you should still, hey, as men, we should still open doors and pull out chairs for women. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should still call women by their name and not bitches and hoes and all this other stuff. Like, how many times have you had, wait a minute, how many times have you had people come to you and be like, hey, where the hoes at?
No, but you said it like that was a normal thing in relationships. Like, hey, bitch, go make me some Kool-Aid.
But wait a minute, let me ask you though, and today is it not? And today, is it not? Because all the time when you're out, I literally have heard dudes in department stores. Bitch, why you tripping? What?
That made me uncomfortable, man.
What do you mean? What, did you just call your girl outside her name in front of people? Like, yo, is that okay? Like, nah, man. That our society today has literally made that okay. And they don't. Most guys don't understand. Every time you do that to a female, you if she is a female of class, you quietly break her down.
Yeah.
Because that's not something that she wants to hear. So that could be a reason right there. Boom, your relationship failed. And that's just something simple. That's on the surface of things.
You know what's bad about that kind of situation? That's the kind of situation to where if you dare say something, she'll get on your head too. Not only will it get, but she'll get on your head too.
Exactly. The girl will be getting disrespected and take up for the guy because that's just where we're at.
Yeah.
This is the analogy I use is dealing with goldfish. Is, you know, with fancy goldfish and certain types of fishes, if you put them in clean water, they die. They are used to being in an area filled with bacteria because a lot of them come from streams and areas of the world that is full of bacteria. Just like relationships, if you put somebody that's used to a toxic relationship in a regular relationship, they don't flourish.
Exactly.
They bring that toxicity with them because that's all they know.
Okay, which brings me into this. Back to the 5 love languages. Positive words. I believe that if you want your relationship to last, it's important to tell your partner positive words on both sides.
Yeah.
You know, to be verbally there for them. Because everybody's not looking for you to be there physically or financially. Some people need that verbal, just say, hey, I'm here for you. Today's going to be okay. You know, it's going to be a good day. You look beautiful today. How many of y'all tell your girls they look beautiful? Huh? Hey, how many of y'all girls, co-workers at work, have to be the ones to tell them that they're beautiful instead of you in the morning?
Got her job.
You know what I
Day
mean?
from finance tickling her.
Because a lot of the problems in relationships is we all go out here and we chase what we want, but once we actually get it, we don't do the chase anymore, and that's why the relationship fails.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's a lot of different reasons, and at the end of the day, I'm curious to know what you guys think of the 5 love languages, because there's a part in it that says gifts, and that's a part I don't understand because of the fact of if you're in a relationship and a relationship is based on gifts. I mean, it's cool. Hey, listen, if you both got money, that's awesome. But so you're telling me if you stop doing this for her, that she doesn't want to be with you anymore, then why do you need her? Because there's plenty of women out here that would be thankful to get the gifts that you give them. So why be with somebody who expects it? Huh? It's a job. You're supposed to. No. This is supposed to be 50-50. People, if you want a relationship to last, take care of each other, period. Period. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
Inshallah.
I mean, I guess if I had to give my input, and it would just be based on what I've gone through. I would say technology is definitely a contributing factor.
Big time. Big time.
And that's just reinforced, you know, the need for instant gratification. You know, people are more widely available because, I mean, infidelity has always been a thing, but you think about it now. If you say good morning the wrong way to a girl that you're just dating, she's like, oh, okay, you ain't on your job. I'm gonna just go over here to Bill. He said good morning. You know, he ready to cash out me that $100. So I mean, hey, you'd be surprised, though, man.
But you know what? Now you're talking about a certain type of woman. And what I mean by that is, you're not really talking about a woman that wants to be in a relationship at that point. Because those type of girls, those are the ones you don't take home. You take to the park.
But
you take to the alley.
It's hard now to decipher because, you know, anybody can hide behind a facade on the internet. Like,
true.
I've dated suburban church-going Beckys, and they've been that same exact way. You know, completely different from how they presented themselves on the internet. I mean, I guess to the effect of not wanting to chase people, that's also a problem. But my take on it is just that, you know, that instant gratification thing. You know, a lot of us, yeah, I would say, well, nah, maybe it's half and half. Maybe it's more so women, but a lot of us are living in the now, and when we find a partner, we're not thinking long term. We're thinking, and this also goes off of piggybacks on what you said. You know, how can this person satisfy me now? Is this what I want now? We're not thinking about, okay, is this gonna be the right person for me 10, 20 years down the line? You know, yeah, this person might not be a model. This might not be somebody I could snap with, or they might not have the most clout. But is this, you know, somebody who's going to contribute to my growth as a person as time goes on?
Definitely. I would just say, kind of from my perspective, because in my process is a little bit more different because there's not really dating involved when you're married as a Muslim. There's an engagement period and then you're married. So when I'm dealing with somebody, I'm literally trying to decide would they be a good mother and would they could be a good wife. So it's a whole different calculation. So then it's like, okay, are you following the tenets of the religion like you're supposed to? And as far as I'm concerned, if she's doing that, if she wants the best for me and I want the best for her, we'll figure it out. But see, that's easier when you kind of have a guideline of how the behavior has to go down. It's a lot more different and a lot more difficult when you have two people just trying to figure it out. Where a lot of us were not taught how to be husbands, and a lot of women were not taught how to be wives. So we're trying to figure it out a lot of times from people trying to tell us what to do, who they themselves are not successful in relationships. And that's tough. That's like trying to open up a business when the people trying to tell you how to open a business have went bankrupt.
Yeah.
So it's difficult out here.
There it is. And that's our take on it today. So you guys comment and let us know what you think. And then we'll go from there. All right? It's our time.